let's do this. And the stuff that remains, let's transition to what it is that Trump actually wants. Now, we know that he wants, one of the things that we say is that he wants dirt on his opponent. Another way to say it is he wants to find out the truth on his opponent. I mean, if these things are truthful, if you go and you find truthful things, the argument would be that it's actually good for democracy to have truthful things exposed.
Right.
But here's the thing. I don't want to get into that normative debate. What I want to get into is what the hell is he looking for? And in order to do that, we've got some clips from Rudy Giuliani. Rudy, this Trump administration is so interesting because everybody talks. You know, you go look at his tweets to find out what's going on. He's got this tweet storm for Trump, and then you go to Giuliani. He's running his mouth all over the place. In unbelievably, what he says, he gets on these news.
Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York, right?
He was the mayor of New York, and he's also Trump's private lawyer.
Oh,
and so
that's okay. I see where it gets interesting.
And so he's out there trying to make a case on behalf of his client. Now, let's listen to some things that he says. Play clip number 10.
This was given to me. I wasn't looking for it. It was given to me by a very legitimate American investigator, lawyer, who had these very serious allegations that Ukrainian officials were trying to get to the FBI and felt there was something wrong with the FBI and the DOJ because they weren't listening to him for a year.
Right. They were trying to give them evidence, and they weren't taking it. It's from the Hill.
I have it in statements and affidavits, and I have direct evidence because I know that's going to reveal a substantial amount of Democratic corruption involving false evidence that was created. A meeting in the Obama White House to get dirt on people being told to get dirt on Trump and Manafort and others.
Right.
I mean, there's so much evidence here.
Yeah, it's inadmissible.
I have that much direct evidence, and they don't want to hear from me.
Right.
They want to investigate how I found it rather than the truth of it. They want to investigate how I found it instead of a pay-for-play scheme involving the highest levels of the Obama administration.
He was going off. So he's really building a narrative there of corruption. Not a narrative. What do you call this? He's trying to build a case of corruption against Biden.
Well, this is Rudy. People wonder what is going on with Rudy. Rudy Giuliani used to be this very, stable figure, law and order guy.
He was calm, collected.
Yeah, I mean, but the truth is, what is behind curtain number 3? He's got this narrative, and it plays out on a simple continuum. If there's absolutely nothing here, nothing at all, then at least he's got conflict of interest. I mean, so you got something right away. But he thinks there's much more there than conflict of interest.
Yeah.
He thinks that there's something there that actually snaps in to why the Mueller report got started in the first place. He has these conspiracy theories that, Ukraine sometimes, I'm just going to say this nicely, it has a history sometimes of being corrupt. There's a corrupt thing. So you don't know, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell who's telling the truth. You get an affidavit from someone and you wonder, is that the truth or is this other thing the truth? And so let me just read this to you. Giuliani had become convinced that the Manafort records were doctored and disseminated. In other words, what you have, you have these pro-Russian Ukrainian interests, and the Democrats tried to say that Trump, that was the connection. That's how that they had these ties to Moscow. Well, if there's pro-Russian Ukrainians there's also a counterforce against that. And the issue was whether the Obama and Hillary people used that to do to get information and dirt on Trump. And Rudy has these crazy theories that suggest that some of the players that were involved in the Steele Dossier, getting the false predicate to the Steele Dossier, I hope you know, was something that was never confirmed. And it was used as a basis to spy on the Trump campaign. They used that to get the FISA warrant, etc. Rudy has these crazy theories that somehow what the investigation will show will snap into that. Now, other people fire back and say, look, it's just misinformation. It's all conspiracy theory. In fact, even insiders in the White House are criticizing Giuliani. They say that that he's the one feeding. Rudy put this SHIT in Trump's head, is a senior a Republican. Inside the Trump administration, they're saying, "What the heck? Rudy is the one who put this in Trump's head." You know, that there's all this to find in this investigation.
So maybe okay. So they think that Giuliani's really talking up Trump, saying like, "Hey, these guys are corrupt. We need to blow this thing wide open."
Right. They think there's more there than just evidence of conflict of interest. They think that they can find proof that Trump was set up for the Russian investigation. You know, because that Russian investigation never really turned out well in the Mueller report, and they think that they were set up with that. Play clip number 11.
You're asking me about the process that I followed to uncover one of the biggest scandals. I should be considered a whistleblower. I should be getting whistleblower protection. I actually found facts that are true. The other guy, half of what he wrote is false.
And I think what he's talking about is Mueller. The other guy, half of what he wrote is false. I think that's what he's talking about. It's hard to say because he didn't say. Play one more and then we'll talk about it. Clip number 12.
I think there was a conspiracy, however, to frame Trump. I think this was a conspiracy to frame Trump, and I think it goes way beyond.
The players were?
Well, I can't name them yet because they're not identified, but this is a counterintelligence conspiracy that started with feeding information to Papadopoulos and having Papadopoulos regurgitated to Australian ambassador. It involved the Ukraine, it involved Italy, it involved UK, it involved Australia, bare minimum. Who could do that but somebody in the CIA? Comey couldn't actually do that.
So is he actually stating what his evidence is?
What he has these huge ideas, and we don't want to call them conspiracy theories because it's not like it's moon landing stuff, denying the moon landing. It's more conjecture and hypothesis. Okay, so if you have a hypothesis, what do? You go try to investigate it. And he's got this hypothesis that involves evidence that he does have, which bears upon how the Mueller investigation actually got rolling. The narrative that, and again, we are not saying any of this is true. What we're saying is this is what's in Rudy's head. He's telling everyone freely it. And so there's two things to understand. We know that Rudy had been digging around trying to get this stuff in the prior administration. He was doing this as early as January, the prior Ukrainian administration. So once this new president comes in, they saw an opportunity. And once the Biden people who knew that this digging was happening, they started reacting. And so you have this whistleblower complaint, which was seems to be written by a lawyer, which now they're launching the impeachment inquiry. And so we got really hardball, dirty politics, one side wanting to see if there's something really nasty here, and the other side saying, look, you're cheating. You're not playing politics fairly. You're going to foreign governments and you're trying to get these things concocted, and you're playing hardball, so we're going to play hardball back with you. The one thing I want to say quickly about what Rudy's theory is, they have this theory that inside the CIA, there was this asset, this Russian person, that got used to make the Steele Dossier. And because, Adam, all this happened in 2016, the Steele Dossier is 2016. This is the same time, the same year when Biden goes over there, gets the prosecutor fired.
Yeah.
And I think that some of the same players involved in the Burisma thing, they're going to find out, have connection to the assets that were used in the Steele Dossier. I think so. I think there was some suggestion, Fusion GPS or something. I'm not all following this.
The assets within the CIA are assets to whoever's pulling the strings in theory.
Okay, let's do it this way. This is all just conjecture. This is what I think Rudy thinks. That when in 2016, when Hillary was being beaten up and they felt that with these investigations and they felt that Trump was colluding with Russians, etc., that what the Obama people did is found a false predicate, to get an investigation going to smear him back. That's what the narrative is. The narrative is the Obama people needed a false predicate to go smear Trump back. And they thought that first of all, they didn't think they were going to lose the election, but they figured, look, you're doing this stuff to us, we're going to do it to you. Now listen, we have to be careful because I'm a professor, not none of this has been proven to be true. The only reason why I'm saying this publicly to you on the air is that there is, in fact, right now as we sit, an honest investigation into it. There's an investigation into the investigation. So a lot of these things that Rudy says and these documents that he's getting supposedly are feeding into that investigation. There is an investigation right now into how this Mueller thing started. There's an investigation into how the Steele Dossier started. You know, it's called the investigation into the investigation. And that's the only reason why on air I'm repeating what seems to be a haymaker and a wild theory, because we have to be honest with you. You know, it's irresponsible in public anywhere to repeat some of these crazy things that Rudy Giuliani seems to be saying.
Right.
So let's do it this way. If they turn out to be crazy and Rudy's become, this crazy person, then we'll call him on that and be neutral and say, okay, so this is you are a sleazeball or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, this is going to come out. You're going to see this investigation come out. You're going to see this play out in the impeachment drama. There's been no violation of the law. It seems to just be hardball, sleazy politics as far as I can see it. Everybody's
opening investigations on their opponents to try to find dirt.
I mean, if I find as an American politics professor, what I look at here is I ask a very simple question. Okay, so you want to run for president. What's your scandal going to be? We need an investigation. I mean, what are we doing now? We're just going to investigate our opponents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be, that I guess that's now going to be the normal thing. Because it's kind of disheartening. We can talk about in the next segment. We're going to slow down in the next segment and pursue some other avenues on this. But the basic thing right now is it seems to be impeachment politics is in play. It's dirty politics. One side saying, hey, I just tried to get at the truth, and the other side saying, no. This is all wild conjecture, and you're just trying to distort the truth, and you're trying to get dirt on an opponent from a foreign government, and you shouldn't be doing that.